Welcome. You have just started your home buying journey and you really already started dreaming about that house that you'll be living in and all the wonderful things that you'll be doing in your house. And buying a home is the dream for many, and many have taken that first step to go to that open house and schedule showings for others. And that is a great first step, but there's many things that you should understand before you even buy your first home. This way, you make sure you don't miss out on your dream home and really are happy with your decision. And before we get into it, this is Gary, a real estate agent based in Queens, New York, that really helps you try to educate you on everything when it comes to buying, selling a house in New York. If you have any questions, please comment down below. And as always, like and subscribe if you like the content that you're hearing. So for timeline, you need to make sure you understand certain things when it comes to buying a house. And depending on where you are and what type of amount of money you have in your bank, you might need a mortgage. And if you aim to get a mortgage, you need to get a pre-approval, not just a pre-qualification. A pre-approval is something that every realtor and every homeowner wants to see to make sure that you are qualified to actually buy it and actually commit to this transaction. So if you don't have pre-approval, get one and get one as soon as you can to make sure you'll be able to see the houses. And once you see one you like, you'll be able to put in an offer. And with these pre-approvals, there's always expiration dates on it. So you need to make sure that depending on how long you aim to commit to looking at houses, this is something that will fit within your timeline. And any pre-approval will be sufficient since they are not something that you need to lock into when it comes to a mortgage. And if anything, you can always shop around for a pre-approval, as you will have 14 to around 21 days from that initial pre-approval document and really acquiring it, that it won't really heavily impact your credit again. And the other things when it comes to the timeline is when it comes to getting your offer accepted, there's usually back and forth between the lawyers and the other things that goes within the contract, like the contingencies, like a home inspection. So this will always extend your timeline a little bit. And the last thing is once you're under contract, both sides have signed that contract, there are always going to be a certain time frame for when you will need to close. And if you're using all cash and everything's settled in the bank, it'll be a lot faster transaction, potentially a week, up to 2-3 weeks. You never know. But if you're using a mortgage, that is something that you would need to consider a little bit longer of a time frame. So it could be 30 days all the way as long as 60 days, due to you never know what type of situation might occur during that process. So always give yourself a little buffer room and assume a longer closing time so that if something does happen, you won't be scrambling, try to make things work. Finances is making sure that you have all the money that you will need to make a deal work in the bank, not just under your mattress. Every owner and real estate agent wants to see that you have money in the bank such that you could give a certified check at closing and there will be no problems outside of that. So if you don't have the money, you should spend time to make sure you deposit it into the bank to make sure the owner and real estate agents that are representing to the owner are confident in your offer and are sure that you could go through with it. And main other thing is there is a lot of other options out there beyond just buying a house. In New York, there's co-ops and condos at a lot lower price. If that's something that you might be more interested in, especially if you are currently in a financial situation where you're not able to buy that dream house of yours. And during this time, there's a lot of things that you should not be doing. And it really comes down to three things. Don't do anything that can harm your credit score. Don't take on any extra debt, like a car loan or anything like that during this time period of buying your house. And do not change your job during this time, as this will impact the transaction and potentially delay or even cause the deal to fall through. So finance and the timeline, these are the main things that if you understand where you are and where you want to be in the next few years, you'll be more prepared during this time and really get the house that you really want, and add a more certainty such that once you go through with it, you'll be happy with your purchase. So now that you're under contract and you really have an offer in, or you're right before you really submit your offer, you see a house that you really want, I highly recommend you really form yourself a team of real estate professionals that really will help you during this journey. And there's a lot of things that if you understand the process and really understand what you want, there's things you might not need and it might decrease your expenses. So one, you can get yourself a real estate agent, somebody that can help you throughout this process and really go on your behalf to negotiate the best deal for you. But as always, you don't really need a real estate agent if you understand the process and be able to negotiate and really get the terms that you need. But if you have a tight deadline and really want more support during the home buying journey, I highly recommend you work with a real estate agent, as they will be able to better educate you and help you through the process to make sure you really get the best terms, and they will make sure the deal will go through. So if you do decide to get an agent, make sure help to explain to you the entire home buying process and help you understand what things you should do and not do during this time frame. And they will help you support you on understanding your financial situation, maybe not making sure you meet the mortgage and stuff like that, but really provide you numbers and things that you can plug in for yourself. And as always, you can always talk to a mortgage professional. This way, they will make sure you don't overextend yourself too. And as always, with the accepted offer, this is something I say is a non-negotiable. You should get yourself a real estate attorney to really make sure they review the contract and have all the terms that you want within your offer. And this way you won't get screwed over on the deal. And if you don't have one and not sure where to find one, you can always ask a friend or look on Google to find a well-reviewed local professional. If anything, if you have an agent, you can ask them, as they have a lot of real estate attorneys within their contacts too. And there's a lot of other real estate professionals that you could include within your team, depending on what type of house you are aiming to buy. The common one is a home inspector. So this is somebody that will go into your house and really do a inspection of the house of what they can see. And this is to make sure everything that they are acknowledged, you could use and go back to negotiation with the seller. So this is something that in case there are any major problems that they might find, you're aware of it. And if it's something you are okay with, you can go through with the deal. So now we're at the last home stretch where you're really at the closing table. And at the closing table, there's a lot of fees that you should consider for yourself. And these will vary depending on what things you include within your contingencies and what services you use for the transaction. For a buyer, on average, if you have a mortgage, is around 1.5% to 6% of the purchase price. Since with the mortgage, there's always mortgage-related fees, from loan or origination fees all the way to appraisal fees and application fees. If you have a real estate attorney, there will always be an attorney fee and things that come with acquiring the house, like homeowners insurance and title insurance. Those things are always included. So make sure you talk to your mortgage professional and real estate attorney to make sure you understand what type of closing expenses to have, and make sure you have that amount in the bank for closing, such that you won't have any problems at that closing table. The finances of owning a house. And this includes aspects like the understanding how much you will need to pay in property taxes every year, the homeowner's insurance, the maintenance that will require to maintain the house, and the utilities that comes with owning a house, from water bill, electricity, gas, internet, or anything you want to really enjoy the house to the fullest extent. Make sure you have a figure for how much you're able to pay every year within your finance calculations. And if you have a mortgage, include that too, or else you will be burdened by this of new expenses that you weren't aware of. I say the American dream is to buy and keep your house. So make sure you understand these aspects fully before you making a house purchase. And there's a lot of things that comes with the details of your transaction. But if you understand the things I talked about in this video, you won't be surprised when you move into your house and do on your own due diligence. And as always, if you have any questions about the home buying process and want to learn more, like and subscribe and comment down below. So let me know how I can best be of service to you.